This Tuesday marks the centenary of World War I's Battle of Jutland, the biggest sea battle in Royal Naval history. HMS Caroline is the only surviving ship, and now she's found a permanent home here in Belfast as a museum.
On today's Songs of Praise, I'm taking a sneak peek aboard before she opens to the public this week.
I'll be hearing about the role faith played as thousands of sailors risked their lives for God, King and country. And I meet the grandson of a young sailor at Jutland to discover his story from that momentous day. And after Mental Health Awareness Week, Diane Louise Jordan finds out how one mother is coping following the death of her teenage daughter.
I just cried and I just said goodbye, and we will see each other again one day.
Later in the programme, we'll have a performance from Emmy Award-winning Irish tenor Eamon McChrystal. But let's begin with a traditional favourite and appropriate hymn for aboard ship, Will Your Anchor Hold?
On the 31st of May 1916, 151 Royal Navy warships came face to face with 99 ships from the German High Seas Fleet off the coast of Denmark.
The Battle of Jutland was the defining battle of World War I and the largest clash of battleships in history.
The only remaining ship is HMS Caroline, and 100 years on she's been transformed into a visitor's attraction. I met up with the curator and the chaplain to the fleet in the powerhouse of the ship.
Caroline was a light cruiser. Her role was to be ahead of the battle fleet, really going out to scout ahead and to defend the fleet from attack from torpedoes. We have a number of accounts, primarily from diaries of sailors who were on board Caroline. Hell of a fight going on, 3 torpedoes missed us by yards, shells falling round. That was at 7:20 p.m.
You know, one minute it's calm, the next minute literally all hell has broken loose. It must have been very trying on the men and on their faith in their equipment, in their ships, and in God, I imagine.
Of the 250 ships involved in the battle, the British lost 14 and the Germans 11, resulting in a huge loss of life.
The British lost over 6,000 and the German fleet had 2,500 dead as well. Some of the British losses were incredible because some of the bigger ships, the battle cruisers, had over 1,000 people. So like losing a small town or a small village in one stroke. to lose your friends by seeing a ship that was wrecked, seeing the name on that ship and knowing who was in there, you'd known you'd lost friends.
Most of the ships had their own naval chaplains on board to help the men through these troubled times.
Chaplains traditionally wear no rank and talk of themselves as being the friend and advisor of all on board. So we have accounts of them actually walking among the men to steady them, if you like, and helping them to get over and get on with their duty during some of these quite harrowing things.
But some went beyond comforting others.
HMS Warrior was damaged very severely in the action. As they were ordered to abandon ship, the chaplain decided the most important thing he must do was to rescue the sacred vessels. And I have them here.
Wow.
The original HMS Warrior from the First World War, over 100 years old, and you can see here is engraved 31st of May 1916. And these are still in use today, so a piece of lovely naval history and faith history passed down hand to hand.
Visitors to HMS Caroline will be able to see how the men lived on board. Life at sea would have been pretty tough for most of the 289 crew.
So Claire, this is one of the mess areas we have on board. The majority of the ship's company would have lived in a space like this. They would have eaten here and also slept here. They wouldn't really have had much personal space to themselves.
But it wasn't all eat, sleep and work.
One of the most popular things on board were concert parties. On Caroline, these were known as carry-ons, and the men would have spent quite a lot of time preparing for those. And they also had a ship's cat.
The facilities look fairly basic.
Oh, this is more like it, Victoria, a bit more space for the captain.
Yes, the captain had the most amount of personal space on board.
I think I could have coped a bit better up here, I have to say.
But it could also be lonely at the top.
Well, quite often the captain would have dined alone. This was important to keep separation between him and the men.
Our next hymn is one you can imagine the captain encouraging his men to sing as they gathered for services on board.